Hey everybody, welcome to the Trueleon Army show. Today I got my guy OJ, originally from Dayton, but now resides in Atlanta, Georgia. So as you've seen with the title, we're talking about today how child support has failed today. How it does no longer work for today's system, for the family types. So, I'm gonna jump right into it, man. Why do you think child support was created to begin with?
There's a lot of different theories. I mean, I feel like people who really don't really study or really know the history. Some people claim due to I guess like quote unquote deadbeat dads not being around, to support the child and the mother. That's why it was created.
Well, as far as why it was actually created, at least from my studies, was that it was made in 1975. President Ford. Basically, during that time, the nuclear family was primarily your husband who was working, the wife who was the stay-at-home wife, and at that time they also passed what is called the no-fault divorce. So basically, it wasn't a lot of preventing couples from getting divorced. So with divorce starting to be on the increase, now we were running into situations where the homemaker, the woman, were running into poverty. So it was created as a way to help mitigate that, so that because women were naturally the caretakers since they were at home with the children, so it made sense to create a system to allow payment. Now, how did that fail today? Is because the family dynamic from today is not the same as then. Whereas non-marital births, it counts almost close to 50% of births. Whereas at that time, it was a few percent. So what I'm trying to talk today, and it's just a conversation. It may not come to a conclusion, but it's to get not only us thinking, but our viewers to start thinking, how can child support be changed to better help the family now? Where you run into situations where, let's say the couple just met, they slide, pregnant, and now you're stuck with a bill. And if you don't pay that bill, your life could be destroyed. What do you think we need to do to change it?
In my opinion, we have to be fair, bro. They just have to just change it to be fair, because in my situation, I got dealt a pretty horrible hand from the jump. I mean, from a guy who was quote unquote making about $12 an hour when my order was in place. I'm like, okay, $12 an hour plus, I was in the reserves at the time, Air Force Reserves. That little reserve pay ain't nothing but maybe $300 or more or less after taxes, right? So, okay, $12 an hour. Okay, they did the math. So I'm thinking $300 a month, $200 a month, something of that sort, maybe even 400 tops. Okay, cool. Bro, they said my order was like $723.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, come again?
First, right? You're one and only.
Yeah, just from my one and only daughter, which I'm done after this one. But anyway, man. So I went back and forth with the courts. I'm arguing with them, which is dumb as hell. Before I knew how they really work, and I'm thinking like, yo, how is this fair? Like, I'm only making $12 an hour. Like, I can't live off this. Like, you taking more than half my check, which is about 55% at the time. How can I survive? But they don't care, bro, because it's all about extortion. And at the same time, they're getting their cuts, because the more money that they get into their system, I heard that the federal actually match up. So if they get $1 million, that's $2 million due to the matchup. So that's why they be so prevalent on trying to have men or even women in certain cases get into the system, because they benefit from it. Plus with the courts,
there is a fee associated with it, but I mean, isn't there an issue too when there's so much uncollected child support? I mean, because although let's say they're getting fees, and that's I'm not sure how much that would add to the budget or how much that would help with crunching numbers. But if the goal is to receive child support, the figure I looked at, there was over 113 billion and counting of uncollected child support. So clearly there is a failure. There is a failure in the system, and that's why I feel like that when it was created, for the nuclear family, it doesn't bode well, because at that time you had where the wife was at home and the man is working. Now we have both the mother and father going into the work field to work. So I'm thinking, just right off the top of my head, why can't both parents be, in a situation where they take care of the child, like costs equally set up to pay from each parent, versus even dealing with them regardless? Because I just feel like it's not working, and to be in a situation where,
oh no,
if something happens to you, I don't know. I mean, it can happen to anybody. You can be up, and then let's say if you're down, economy go bad, and your life could be ruined. I mean, you could sit here and try to work with child support. I mean, when I went through a situation when I got laid off, and I called them and let them know, I said, hey, I got laid off. I need to lower my child support. Blah, 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 blah. Man, they didn't even want to hear nothing until it was so many months. Like 6 months. So I'm like, man, that's 6 months of arrears. And with the type of work that I was doing at the time, which was overseas contracting, in order to have your passport, you can't even have over a certain balance.
I believe like $2,500.
Yeah, $2,500. Yeah, exactly. So it put me in a situation where I'm like paying out of my savings, and mind you, I'm involved in my children's life with calling them, doing everything I have to. So that,
exactly.
And that's where, I feel like in the 90s, the mid 90s, where the reform was signed, where it punished men, or let's just say the non-custodial parent. It's just more times it was men, but women are subject to this as well. So, if the shoe fits, please keep listening, because it goes either way. So this is not women bashing or male bashing. This is just the true facts that affect non-custodial parents. But also, too, there's a reason why the system was created, because there are people who skate by and don't do anything, don't help, and that's where it comes to the uncollected child support. How do we create a situation where both parents are equally, like taking care of the child? Like, let's say even if they're far away or close, like, I mean, is it something that the government should be involved with? Can it be fixed? Or is this just a runaway problem that can't be mitigated by government intervention?
Okay, not to be controversial, but they have something called the Maonosphere these days, where it involves people like Kevin Samuels and some other people, and like they claim that the modern day women, and feminism, kind of like got the whole game messed up right now, and I feel like that also resides with the whole child support in the court system, because some women they'll put a man in the system just to be vindictive. Like, if it didn't work out, he moved on, he's happy with his new wife, or just not dealing with her in general. They have that as like a way to hold you. And I feel like in my situation, we already had an agreement that, I would go half on the daycare, and anything else she needed, cool, bet. I mean, as any parent should do in any type of joint custody type ordeal. But the instant, I started moving on with my new wife. I mean, because, we had a child out of wedlock, by the way. We wasn't in no real serious relationship or any of that. Just friends, just doing things, and things happen. So, but yeah, so as soon as I was moving on, that's when I got hit with this order. And she did it so sneaky. Like, she even like come to me as a woman and, explain, or like even try to work with me. And I'm thinking like, okay, well, I've been giving you this money even before the fact. So what happened? Like, I could see like if I disappeared or, or anything of that sort. Okay, cool. Do what you got to do, because, it's well deserved then. But I feel like men should at least give us a chance before we make that mistake. Don't just automatically put us in the system thinking like, it's going to be a benefit, because in some cases they'll get a woman less than what a man was paying before they went to court. So that's another.
I agree with that too. And honestly, I wouldn't say what you brought up was controversial. And the reason I say that is because it affects so many people. It's not controversial. I mean, that's the norm.
But that's the thing, Drew. Like a lot of people would be mad when you bring up the term modern day women. You know what I'm saying? And it's like all the studies that I've been seeing, it's like the things they do kind of put themselves, like, it's like that whole act that they be on, it's like it shoots them in the foot at the end of the day, because now a lot of women are lonelier. They're older. They're lonely. They hit the wall. Excuse me. So while they were out doing things and being vindictive as a younger woman, instead of like, worst case, they have a kid with they have a child with a man, they separate, and instead of working with the man for the child's sake, because like I said before, well, I didn't say it at this time, but there's times where, I said in the past, like, a man wants to be with his child 9 times out of 10. Like, that's just being 100. Like, my daughter, I love her to death. Like, there's times where I didn't get to talk to my daughter for months at a time because, me and her mother was just, we just were just seeing eye to eye on things, which is crazy to me, because it's like, how can you punish me when we're having an argument? You get what I'm saying? Like, I didn't endanger my child, or I didn't threaten to kill you. Nothing crazy. We just had a disagreement. And I feel like, in my opinion, well, in my situation, it's kind of like a tactic to keep control and tabs on me in a way, because,
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I would say, there's 2 issues you brought up. One being visitation, which there are things that can help mitigate that, even for men who don't pay child support. I mean, sometimes it can be a pain, but I do feel like there are rules in place to help men get their rights to be able to,
But that's the thing, though. It's like, but that's the thing, though. Like, why even get them involved? Like, they wasn't in the room when the baby was being conceived, so why they got to be in our business now? And it's kind of crazy. Like I said earlier, it's all about money too, because you got to pay another fee in another court just to get some God-given rights. Like, it's crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? So
it sucks, but I think at the end of the day, we kind of have to look back at ourselves. I mean, and what I mean is like, we laid down with this person, had a child with this person, and there had to be something within their character that resembled this type of behavior that we may have overlooked, and still had a child with that person. So we kind of gotta blame ourselves. And I'm just saying, like, I'm not like trying to take up, like, but what I'm saying is that there are women who don't do that. There are women who are not like bitter or anything. They may be upset, but they want you to be in the child's life because they believe at the end of the day it's more important. So, but there are women who are bitter and who do use the system, and men too, who is just primarily more so women because they're, usually granted custody of their children, but who are bitter and use the system as a way to invoke some type of control, as you would say, or, make the life harder on the custodial parent. But again, let's roll it back to how it could be changed. Now, I think that's just an opportunity. It's an opportunity. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody's somebody's food.
I mean, here's another thing. Like, okay, like in current news, when it came to, like, what is it? The convoys that went to Canada, like the truckers. Mm-hmm. Oh man, you see what happened? They was acting a fool down there. I mean, it was a peaceful protest, but seeing how much power they had over the government, like, I feel like the men will have to do something about that. There's so many men, because most of the time men, we just take it and keep it going, bro. Like, we take it, we that's it. That's just how we are, bro. Like, we don't really like to complain and cry about stuff, man. We just do it. So I feel like if enough men was just say, I'm trying not to cuss, but they would just say, forget it. Okay, no, I'm just saying, like, if enough men were to say, you know what, fuck this, I'm tired of this.
Right.
The system is definitely against us. Mm-hmm. We have to do something about it. So I just really feel like more men have to just come to the table and just want change, bro. Because usually things.
I don't think anybody would disagree with that. I guess the point of the show is to try to think about what type of changes can be made. And what I was stating is, given that the opportunity is there to be able to, I mean, for example, just this stupid loophole. So in my situation, I was paying bills to help pay bills for the home in which my children were staying. Things were moving accordingly as they should have, because I raised them. I understand there's associated costs with taking care of children. When I got placed on child support, it took months for it to even start, but I'm still taking care of business as usual. Once I got this notice, like, hey, you're in the arrears, for X amount of money. I'm like, well, that, okay, this is stupid. This is easily fixable. Contact the child support. They said, hey, all of that is considered a gift. Like, I mean, guy, like, I mean, seriously, it's like, this don't even make sense. And that's like the simple changes they can make that can correct this issue. There should be no reason, if I could show proof that, hey, I am taking care of my children, I am in my children's life, why do I have to get this bitter person who, let's say, could be disgruntled or whatever? I mean, to me, it doesn't matter why a couple leave each other, because it's not about that. It's not about who's wrong, who's right. It's about the child at this point.
True.
So if you can show proof that, you're doing your part, why in the hell am I thousands and thousands of dollars in the arrears when I just paid all this money? And once you're in the arrears, they bump up, the amount that they're taking out by a tremendous amount. And again, these are the type of things that needs to be changed. That's not helping the system. It's putting the non-custodial parent at a disadvantage. And that's one thing I could point out. Other things, I feel like if you could show proof that you've always been taken care of, just like I remember you and I talked offline about this, where you had all these receipts, like, hey, I'm sending money for these daycare payments, I'm doing this, I don't want my money to go through the system, I make the needs of my child are being met, this is how I'm doing it.
True.
It's sad that you can't take that and say, hey, apply that to the bill to offset it. I would even pay a fee. Like, if it's like the however much a fee per month, we just got paid them to monitor it, and we just got to supply information. I'm just saying, this
no, bro, no, like, no, see that. No, I hear you. I'm just real quick. You said it. Okay, so you just said a fee. So, like I said earlier, you're feeding into the system, so that gives the system more power. Okay. So it's like, why the hell am I even being involved with you guys in the first place? Okay. And then you did make some good points, like when it comes to like mistakes on arrears and all this other crap, right? Because for instance, like it took a while before my order kicked in too. And then these motherfuckers said, I got 10,000 in arrears. I was like, how is that possible? Like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, right. 10? Like, okay, you're not going to ever get that back, right? So that's just a whole nother story. So,
well, that falls into the 113 billion and counting that's not being collected because these silly ass games they pull. But keep going, man.
And on top of that, like, life is not promised tomorrow. So, knock on wood, I wake up tomorrow. Okay, cool. But what if I don't? So how are you going to get that money? It's stupid. And I feel like I said, it's just a way for them to get more money in their pockets. And like I said, every dollar that they get into that system, the feds match it. So that $1 is $2. So that 10 is 20 to them. So they're going to try to get all of their money. But it's like, but I don't know. I'm kind of glad, when I got into the system, it kind of embraced me to really be a better person and to step my game up. So I found out ways how to get out the system and to manipulate it. But I'm not going to make that public, because it could just mess with the whole game. But, I guess if you want, you can drop you can drop my email at the end of this video or something, bro. Like I have about a couple people.
Some of the points I'm ignorant to some of the things you pointed out. I definitely look into it at a later point. But, and what I mean by the fee is I don't believe child support is going away. So it's not going away. So we have to accept that. Because as I stated, it was created for a reason. And I just feel like that is it's no different. Remember, like back in the day when Blockbuster was here and they wouldn't evolve with the time, and then eventually they end up going away. Just imagine if they adopted the same principles as Netflix. It wouldn't be Netflix, it would be Blockbuster, because they don't grow with the times. And I feel like with child support, there's no type of competitive way to do that. For example, imagine if maybe they open it up where it's not like just government mandated. Imagine if they had other people be able to compete with a way to be able to collect or find a way to show that these things are being done. And that's what I mean. Like, if I could show proof, like, hey, this is proof that I'm taking care of my kids. I'm and not just once. I'm talking about like taking care of their needs, like their school fees, their clothes, their all the necessities when it comes to taking care of children, you should be able to deduct that from the child support amount. And if there's a fee to just say, hey, this is $20 a month you got to pay for us to be able to monitor this, hey, guess what? I'll pay that, because I know the needs are being met. And I know, and I've heard this from plenty of men, the concern is where, you know, the money will go to the custodial parent, and then the money is not going to actually taking care of the children. Your kids go out, they look busted, or they're, you know, they're going out, their hair look good, their clothes are new, and it's just like, you know, and they don't realize, you know, once you get your kids with you, you still have to provide that same lifestyle while trying to basically keep your head above water. And I just feel like that, you know, it's when it was created, the dynamic was different. You know, most women were homemakers. That's not the case anymore. You know, both parents are more than likely, both parents are in the working field, and changes have to be made. And lastly, I'll just make this point before I get back to you, but I hate that if, let's just say, for example, I told you when I got laid off, you know, and I'm worried about my passport being taken, you know, I'm digging into my savings that I was building up, where instead of it just being suspended for the time being, you know, to help me get up on my feet. But that's not the case. I mean, some guys will go to jail. Some guys, you know, lose their license to be able to go and work. I mean, it's such a backward system. Like, why would I go to jail? Now I can't work. Now I can't pay. Now I can't take care of my children. And really the one that loses at the end are the children. Because if the father can't provide, if they can't be there, if they can't provide, because it's not about always about, it ain't even about money. What if you can't work? What if, you know, whatever, you know, most times it's about building that relationship. It's about having that connection with your children. Of course, I don't think government should be controlling that, but that's a more important factor. And to be able to take away men's ability to be able to go out and make money that right there should just be punishable. That alone should be a reason to just do away with the system. It should be.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely retarded. I can't make money when I'm in jail, or if I can't drive to a designated, you know, my job or anything. You know, trust me, I've been through the bullshit. You know, I had my license suspended several times. You know, due to this crap. Even with the jail, you know, a few years ago, due to this, and it's insane, bro. But I don't know. Like, okay, here's another thing. Like, this is just my opinion, and it's bad, but it's really good. In my opinion, deadbeats are winning. Like seriously, bro. Like deadbeats. Okay, so think about this. How we have to deal with these women, right? Like they stressing, they on BS, they can keep us away from our children. We got to pay extra money to go to these courts for visitation. We got to call this police, you know, call the police and authorities just to see our children. You know, like you said, I'm paying this fee every month, but at the same time, when you get your children, you still got to pay extra money to take care of them. If the money's not going to the child's gonna be bummy and busted. So you got to come out of your pocket so that your child is looking decent out here, because you can't be fresh and your son or daughter looking like, you know, boo boo the foo. Right. So that's a double whammy, triple whammy in some cases for us. You get what I'm saying? And then if the woman's very vindictive, they'll do all types of mind games just to fuck you over. And it's like, I'm just trying to like watch my kid. I'm trying to take care of my kid. I'm trying to have time with my child. Like, so if a deadbeat is like, you know what? Fuck you and that motherfucking kid. I'm gone. Disappear. Just vominos. Guess what? No headache. You ain't got to worry about this dumb motherfucker. I mean, shit. If he did duck the system, he ain't got to pay no motherfucking child support. So there's more money in his pocket. And usually, in most cases, that's when women really be wanting a man to be in a damn situation in a kid's life. Like, I've known and seen plenty of people. Oh my God, I wish he or she daughter or father would come around to see their kids. They be wishing and praying, but you see guys who be fighting and arguing and all the stupid shit that they got to go through just to see their child. And it's like, oh, this shit is fucking crazy. Like, I remember my cousin a long time ago. He had a scare. He was like, man, look, bro, this bitch Fred Brown paying his house for it. I'm disappearing as a bitch. He really meant it, though. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like some women will actually be cool with that. Like, all right, cool. He paying his little fee. I don't care. And then, like, not to say that, I'm trying to be in that category, but when it came to my situation, I came down to Ohio to see my daughter for Christmas. Apparently, her mom was on different times. Apparently since I didn't schedule it or some crazy mess like that, I didn't get to see her or whatever. And but she gave me a 2 hour, visit, a 2 hour window to see my daughter. But it's like, why can't I just like spend a whole day or a few days with her? Like my time is limited. Like I reside in Georgia now, so I can't stay forever. So, but anyway, bro. But anyway, since then I just said fuck it. Like, hey, you do what you do. You call me. When you're ready to call, and that's it. Because to be chasing her and doing all this extra shit, knowing I'm paying my child support, whatever the case be. I mean, regardless, I should just have that time to spend with my daughter. Period. So. But I don't know. It seems like but it's not hard to just end it. But it seems like since I've just not been caring, I'm getting phone calls all of a sudden. Like she's calling me like at least once or twice a week now. But before I can go months without talking to my daughter. So when I stop caring, now you care. Ain't that weird? Which it's psychological. I feel like it's a control tactic. So if you just get out of the grass or the claws, of a woman's grasp. You good, bro, because I swear this shit is a control tactic over the man, bro, especially when they still want you and everything else, bro. It's like I said, this shit is deep. It can go 100 different ways, but this is just one of the common things that you hear when it comes to this whole situation, bro.
The only thing, I would disagree that I would call it winning. I would say that for some people it may be less stressful, and I can sympathize, I should say, on why some men choose to say, fuck it. Like, I don't want to deal with it. It's too much headache. It's too much pain. But if you may be winning, I believe that the child will be losing in that case, because the father's presence is very important in a child's life. Even if the mother disagrees, even if she's being petty, even if she's like, preventing you from seeing your child, you have to go through the steps to ensure these things don't happen. So unfortunately, if you have to spend the money to get the visitation, which shouldn't be that much, because most times you'll at least be able to get a standard visitation. You kind of have to do that, because if let's say, for example, like, let's step it back. When it was created, the nuclear family was totally different. What caused the issue is because there's so many non-marital births happening.
So whose fault is that? So whose fault is that? Okay, like I said, back to the modern day women thing I was talking about earlier. Who controls access to sex and pregnancy? Okay, who has more contraceptives to prevent this from even happening? Alrighty then, you know what I'm saying? So we can't
put the full blame on the woman. For example, if you choose to lay down with them, you understand there's an inherent risk that she may get pregnant. So if you're with this person and you're sleeping with this person, you understand that may be the case, and you have to consider all those facts with everything that's going on in the world, with the laws, child support, everything that's in accordance. You have to take that into consideration. So that's why I say you have to look in the mirror and say, okay, hey, in some way, shape, or form, I have to take blame. Okay, she's doing all this, it sucks and all this, but you know what? I still decided to lay with this person. I have a child. I can't stand you. You're a miserable person. But you know what? I don't want to happen? I don't want my child to be like you. So I'm going to forcibly be in this child's life to show them that, hey, guess what? When you get older, although I didn't do things the right way, I want to make sure that you get married and you do what you're supposed to, and it will make things easier, so that you don't run into the situation. At least that's what, and I feel like that's one of the main ways we can fix it ourselves, is by looking in the mirror, teaching our children to make better decisions, to avoid these pitfalls. Like I don't want my daughters to come and say, hey, I'm pregnant. If you're not married, no, you shouldn't even be doing that. And even with my sons, hey, don't be sitting here laying down with women, and to that degree to where you maybe not be protected or something with a woman you don't plan to have a kid with. Like, if you can't see yourself having a child with her, you should take all the necessary steps to protect yourself and her be protected, and in both scenarios, so you don't run into that situation. But if indeed you are in that situation, at this point, who or how or why you got into it doesn't matter no more because the child is here. So you have to throw away your pride and be like, hey, guess what? To prevent this issue from prevailing in the next generation, I gotta be involved because you carry my name. And guess what? I don't want you to be a young female out here with 4 or 5 kids and several different baby daddies on the Kevin Samuels show begging for advice. And guess what? I can give it to you now and help excuse me help you avoid that from the get-go. And that's where, that's where we could do ourselves to fix it. There are things that could be done within the child support system to make it different, even with custody. I mean, hell, in my divorce decree, I had it spelled out where things were, times and standard order. And unfortunately, going to run into situations where people are bitter. They're going to find ways to argue it. And I remember I called a lawyer because I was building this up. And I called a lawyer and said, hey, this person is not paying half on the medical bills. They're not, at times they didn't provide the standard that, they should being a custodial parent. Man, this lawyer told me, on God, this is what he told me. He said, hey, okay, what hiring me is $3,500, is $350 an hour. I can we can take this back.
Why though, bro? Like, why though?
I'm just saying. This is what he said. He was just like, he was like, hey, this XYZ, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, you know what, man? Like, I don't want to waste that money. And that's where I could see people say, fuck it. But then I had to sit to myself and say, I'm in a situation where now with my current wife where I don't worry about that. Even if we were to not make it, I don't feel like that, hey, she would sit here and prevent me from being around my children or create a situation. And again, it comes down to who you choose to lay down with, who you choose to have a child with. And that's where you have to take that accountability. So
yeah, I mean that's true. That's very true. But
yeah, I mean,
in some sad cases though, it could be peaches and cream the whole time until you move on. Then it's like a whole different person has come out of that person. So
people do change. I agree.
You got to think about this, like with Kanye West situation. Okay, like he's the breadwinner out of your relationship, so now he can't go to his 4-year-old daughter's birthday party. He had to ask X, Y, and Z to get the information. Like that's crazy to me, bro. I mean,
it is.
Whatever y'all got going on, that doesn't have nothing to do with him wanting to see his child, especially on their birthday. Like, come on, at the party, that's extremely important for a father and mother to be there. You know what I'm saying?
It should be a lot easier that if you can prove that the person is exerting this type of control to prevent the other parent from being involved, that it should be just switched. I feel like it should just be like, hey, you know what, you're no longer the custodial parent. If you could prove without a reasonable doubt, like, hey, this happened several times, I come there, she's preventing me from seeing my child, I call, she takes their phones. I mean, it should be a lot easier, and that should be another change when it comes to visitation, because these are two different issues now we're talking about. But roll it back with regards to child support. The changes could be made for one, choosing who we lay down and have a child with. That's number one. Number two, hopefully, if we are put in the system, changes could be made to help mitigate if you're the non-custodial parent, because in some situations, like for you example, you living in a whole nother state, it's impractical for you to be 50-50. That it's just impractical. So there should be a lot more things in place to help a non-custodial parent so they're not sitting here struggling. And I hate the term where I've heard this myself, and I've talked to a guy the other day where he's talking about like his ex was talking about, I'm a single mother or whatever, or single parent. It's like, no, you're a single woman, but you're not a single parent. Co-parent. You know what I'm saying? What your relationship status doesn't matter. So if I'm sitting here helping and I'm doing this, you can't call that. And guess what? If it's so bad where you even feel like you need child support, I feel like there's another change that could be happening. If someone asks for child support, it should be open for the other parent to say, hey, I'll take custody. It should be that case. It should be like, hey, you know what? She's asking for child support. Option A, do you want to take custody? Yes, I'll take custody. I don't need child support. That's cool. I mean, for real, because again, we all understand there's an inherent cost for taking care of your children, and that's something you shouldn't even have to ask for.
Mm-hmm.
It's something it should be unspoken. If you don't, I feel like if you don't want to do it, again, it comes down to the person. You chose to have a child with that person, but if you don't want to take care of your child, you don't want to be involved, you don't want to help. I'm not about to force somebody to do it because it doesn't work. I mean, there's over $113 billion and counting of money non-collected. So, and there's so many different factors on why that's the case, but in some, it's because motherfuckers just don't care. Motherfuckers just don't care. Like, I'm not paying that shit. I don't give a damn what you do. You could take my license. You could do all these threats. I don't give a damn. I'll find ways to live my life and not have to deal with you or that child. And guess what? Whose fault? That's the woman. Because there had to be something in that character to where you're seeing this as the case. And I think that if we teach our daughters to say, hey, get married, spend time with your husband, understand who you're with, I think that will prevent that. Because again, people grow and people change and you may break up or whatever. But you know what? I know you're a rock solid dude. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, with my wife, you know, I feel like, hey, she's rock solid. I don't even think about if we were to ever not make it that she wouldn't take care of her kids. I mean, our kids. She does amazing with her children. And you know, I know she feels the same way about me, which made us move forward. Because mind you, before that, you know, our older kids are much older. So when we started over, you know, it was a conversation we sat down and had and planned this out and made sure this is something we wanted to do to move forward, regardless of where we stand relationship wise. You know, we're gonna do this together. And I feel like that if more parents were to do that, I think it would just it would help our society. It would take that load off, you know, and we could do away with the child support system because there's no reason why, like a father like me, I've been a father for a long time. If I fall on hard times, there should be no reason that my fear is losing my ability to be able to go and take care of my children or losing my freedom. That shouldn't even cross my mind.
But all right, so but check this out though, like your kids, you're in the same state, same city as your children, so and I know for a fact, you know, you get them, like you have your children, like, you know, what is that? Oh, that's dope. That's dope. But nah, bro, like you and your brother, y'all have your children, like, you know, a decent amount of time. So that's another stupid fact about child support. Like I said, it's like they're double dipping on you because, you know, they know in most cases you're going to take care of them when they see you or when they're with you. Excuse me. So I feel like, why the hell should I even pay this money? Period. Like, okay, for instance, if I have my kids every weekend, okay, what that's 8 days out of the week. Okay, why don't y'all reduce that? I mean, 8 days out of the month. Why don't y'all reduce that? Well, that's one thing. And in some cases, you might have them every other week. Well, so why don't y'all reduce that? You get what I'm saying?
Is calculated with that in mind. I am aware that when I talked to that lawyer, he did point that out. But I feel like that, for example, I got a buddy in Cali. Him and his ex-wife made the deal where, you know, he has a kid for a week, she has a kid, you know, every other week, as you said, and neither one pays child support. They just split the costs associated with taking care of the children. That is
exactly, but that takes a responsible couple though. If that makes sense, bro. Like, it's like you can't have no bitterness amongst y'all or none of that. I mean, even if y'all don't rock with each other, y'all know it's a done relationship. That's cool. Just make it work to where y'all both are good for the child, bro. Because like you said, like if both parents ain't good, the child's not going to be good. You know, just imagine if like I never got out of my hole and I'm stuck in jail somewhere, or, you know, I'm stuck with no license and I can't make no plays or no moves. How's my daughter going to have? How's she going to get child support? How's she going to have any money coming to her damn bank account? Anything, you know, trust fund, stuff of that nature. You know, gifts for the year, anything like that. It doesn't make sense, bro. So
and
I don't know.
I feel like, you know, that if you have to force somebody to take care of their children or do all that, you know, 9 times out of 10 that person may not need to be in that child's life. There's other people right who are jump to the chance to be able to be in that child's life, you know, to take care of it. And it may not be, you know, somebody being with the person, it could be family members, to really show that child true love and true wisdom. And I think if we work on the man in the mirror, to say, and teach them, then we should be able to, fix that from the home front. And from the government standpoint, I feel like that personally, just do away with the shit. Do away with it, personally. But, just to go ahead, go ahead and wrap this up. Like, my conclusion to this is like I said, it really comes down to you and who you choose to lay down with and have a child with. So you definitely want to be conscious of that, and definitely if you made a mistake, mistakes happen, and no child is a mistake. So I'm not saying that, but with having these issues, definitely try to teach your children and make sure the next generation don't make the same mistakes we did. Hopefully, with the government, with the state system, it should just do away with it. Do away with it. Definitely, if you could show valid proof that you're in this child's life, you're taking care of them. If you fall on hard times, the last thing you need to be worried about, the license being taken away, your freedom, everything in which you need to be able to go out here and make a living. If a person doesn't want to be in that child's life, I truly believe the pain and guilt from not doing it is punishable enough. When that child say, man, you didn't do shit for me, get out of my face, or I don't want to deal with you, or however they may reconcile in the future, that doesn't matter. But I still believe there's a pain and guilt that parent has to bear. That's something I don't want to ever do. So if I have to sit here and fight and go to the court, get my visitation, I'm gonna fucking do it. I don't give a damn. If I got to sit here and show somebody that I'm not the one to play with when it comes to my children, I will show you that, because I know that I brought these kids into this world, and they're going to be, they're the next generation. They're going to be ones taking over things, and you're going to carry my name. You're my legacy. The last thing I want to do is you not have my presence because of some bitter ex or some, bitter ex. I want to use the system, or whatever. So, that's where I claim it. OJ, anything you want to add before we check out of here, man?
Man. I don't know. I guess if I could rewind time, of course I'd be kidless. But in reality, if I can just, keep my daughter on this earth, it'd probably be with my wife. So like you said earlier, it's definitely about, who you have the child with. But in some cases, bro, they can flip like a switch. So you just really never know until it's that time, bro. But I don't know. But I mean, I do love my daughter. That's my love and joy, my little buttercup, her little light skinned self. And I just need her mom just to work with me, man. Because just because you have, had kids before mine, doesn't mean that I'm perfect. Like, this is my first time being a father. Like, so I'm just trying to figure it out myself. Plus, me and my father growing up, it wasn't the greatest, but at the same time, he was in my life, bro. Like, it didn't matter how many times my mom moved, he somehow found out where the hell we were at. He was on it, man. So I definitely give him praise, on that aspect, of my upbringing.
And I would contest. I mean, not contest, but I would, add to that as well. When your father, he was definitely involved, and it makes a difference, man. For both parents to be involved, because we both offer something to the development of this child. And I feel like that when you get shitty people who want to take steps to prevent the other person from being in, just like we gave the example of Kanye West's wife, doing that dumb shit, man. It's like, when kids get older, I'm telling you, they do notice. It may take time, but they start to get hip. Definitely if you're involved and you're trying and you're doing what you're supposed to, man. When they get older, they start to pull away from the people who took all the energy and effort to prevent the other parent from being involved. And for the parents who don't want to be involved, hey, chop it up as a loss, move on with your life. Don't be trying to get money, do all that. Guess what? There's a lot of systems in place to help take care of it. Now, if you one of those people who, and I say this respectfully, if you had that happen, like if you had it happen to you once, fool on your ass to keep going out there and doing it again. Keep having kids, with people you don't know, or that dumb shit. Because you honestly, you're just creating a generation of people going to keep making the same mistakes and just putting a burden on taxpayers to help foot the bill. Because that's a whole nother tunnel. Listen, hey, Thank you guys for tuning in. Definitely appreciate it. If you felt like you took away something, hit the like button, comment. It's an open discussion. Like I said, there's no conclusions to this. This dialogue needs to happen because changes do need to be made. So you guys signed off, and women too. The shoe fits for both of us. So for non-custodial parents who have to go through this, who go through the frustration with the games, with the fear of the child support, as OJ said, we have to come together. We have to, evoke change for it to happen. I mean, if we was marching down the street, shit, let's get our pick, our signs and march and change this down child support system. It's an archaic system that worked back in the 70s based on the dynamic family at that time. It's no longer the case. So thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you guys on the flip side. One.